Welcome to episode 151 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
The Wolves 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Please subscribe.
Dan Bayliss is here.
Yeah, hello, Wolves fans.
And Jack Williams.
Hi, everybody.
And we'll start with, probably the worst. I think it's the worst performance under Nuno. Would we all agree with that? 4-0 loss to Burnley. Burnley, who scored 13 goals away from home this season, scored 4, 3 of them in the first half against Wolves on Saturday. And Harry, you took the little boy swimming, and I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm glad I did. I have caught up since in the highlights, and I did start to watch a bit of it on BBC iPlayer, but I gave up. I had that bet on, didn't I? I sent you lads. I had 1-0. Chris Wood to score first, Wolves to win. So when I went into swimming, it was 1-0. Chris Wood had scored. So I was buzzing. I was expecting to come back out and just be like 3-1 up. Come back out, it was 3-0 at half time. So absolutely shocking. Connor Cody probably won't get called up for England now because he got turned inside out like a pair of prostitutes' knickers, didn't he? And Chris Wood looked like Aguero. So even Willy Body was awful. It was just shocking. And we were playing the formation with a 5 at the back that's meant to be our good, safe formation. And we got absolutely tore apart by a Burnley side who are about as much use as a Renault Express.
Bayliss, Harry mentioned it there. You make Chris Wood look like Sergio Aguero, and we did.
Yeah, I turned it off at halftime. I couldn't watch it.
To be fair, I didn't watch the last 20 minutes because I thought I don't want to single out Traore here because it's going to sound like I am, but the camera panned to him and he just looked like he couldn't be bothered. And I thought, well, look, if you can't be bothered, then neither can I, and just turned it off and bought a fridge freezer. So there you go, bargains to be had out there. Jack, what were your thoughts there? I mean, it was an abysmal display, wasn't it?
Am I the only one who actually sat through all of it?
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair. I mean, I wish I hadn't either, but I was still in bed and actually had to get up for it. And I set my alarm and, about 11:30, just climbed out of bed because I had a few drinks the night before.
A few.
And by about 12:30, I thought, this is a terrible idea. What have I done this for? It was just shocking, wasn't it, from start to finish? That defence is a joke, an absolute joke. How many times have we been done 4-0 this season? Is that 3 now in the league? 3 4-0s?
Yeah.
And
Liverpool, West Ham.
And how many times did that happen in the seasons prior? It just didn't happen before. So what's changed? What's changed? Obviously, some of the players have changed. Well, it's not Raul, is it? Raul doesn't mean that we get turned inside out 3 times by Chris Wood. That's not Raul. Wouldn't be marking out the game.
I take the point. I take the point that some were making. I think Aaron said on the group, didn't he, that teams are much more inclined to attack us because they know that we don't have any counter-attacking prowess. So it's just like hammer, 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 hammer because teams aren't scared of getting opened up.
Maybe, but I do also think we were dross before Raul got injured.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
We're just using that it's been a really crap season, but the way we gave the ball away, Bolly just misjudging balls all the time.
What was wrong with him?
I don't know what was. He was on the piss the night before as well. Shocking. Traore giving away the ball at least twice that led to really, 1 goal and 1 really good goal scoring opportunity just by passing the ball to stupid places. Cody getting turned inside out, and Sace for the last one. He's got the ball in the corner with a little bit of pressure on him, not much, and it leads to them bloody getting their 4th. Honestly, just shocking. And there's other players you can call out as well. No player was more than a 2 out of 10 outfield player. Well, not even anyone really in that whole game, and it just shows what we've been saying for the last few weeks. If we start next season with those, 3 players at the back, at least 3, maybe 4. Playing in defence, we're relegation fodder. Honestly, we can't keep it up. You've got to Sace and Cody. You've got to have a word, and we need replacements. I think that's as a minimum.
Just before we go on to Bayliss, I'll just ask you about the defence, Bayliss. But first of all, it's probably the question on everyone's lips is, Jack, why were you still in bed at 11:30? Why did you go to bed at about 8 a.m? That's the question everybody wants to know the answer to now. What has happened?
I just had a few beers. Had a few beers. And you know what I'm like when I've had a drink, I won't go to sleep.
I do know what you like. Yeah. Sleeps for wimps. Bed beers.
He knew we were going to lose to Burnley, didn't he? So he was just getting pissed for it. Let's go straight for the night, so he's still pissed for kickoff.
Bayliss, Harry mentioned the Euros there. Connor Cody cannot be on the bus to Wembley, surely now.
Just a quick one. I'm just looking on YouTube. We're not live.
Oh no, yeah.
Good start. Are we not live?
No, I
today?
wasn't meant to. I said we weren't going to be live. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise we weren't live.
It's pre-recorded, everybody.
Were you going to troll yourself? Then,
No.
Dan? Was that
It's a good job because you would have interrupted a live broadcast otherwise, which is against the rules.
This is staying in the YouTube upload, so there we go.
No, he's not good enough. We're not good enough. It's been bad all year, and we had a good run of games against some pretty crap teams, and everyone had the rose-tinted specs on, and this has brought it crashing back down, hasn't it? I mean,
Harry, oh sorry, go on, carry on.
No, I haven't got a lot more to say, to be honest. What is there to like? I can sit here and moan, and then we'll just get pelters on Twitter of us moaning too much. So, I don't want to get called. I don't want to get called shit haircut Gandalf or something. It's just no point going on and on.
Mate, you wish you were Gandalf. You were nowhere near that tall. You're Frodo.
What I'll say is, I can't believe once upon a time, Sace, Cody, and Bolly were our solid defenders that we relied on and thought no one could get past us. And now we're conceding 4. We might as well play 4 at the back from now on if we're going to defend like that with 5 anyway.
Yeah, it's very true. What do you think it is, though? What's changed? And I don't know. What's? Do you think it's also like they're a bit unmotivated because it's been such a dross season? And granted, it's been difficult because of the circumstances and no break and tiredness and fatigue and all these sorts of things. But those things shouldn't suddenly mean you make terrible instant decisions on a football pitch, like playing yourself into pressure or not defending or not putting a tackle in, not bringing a player down. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we're being harsh, but I don't know. I don't think we're not, because that was just absolutely terrible.
There's no excuses for that loss against Burnley. There was no effort, was there? I think I saw a stat online that Burnley ran 6 km more than us overall. I know we don't really like stats, but there was no effort. We've lost Neto, we've lost Raul, we know about the injuries. And obviously we had 2 1-0 wins, so we're comfortable. Maybe it was just like they just couldn't get motivated for it. Burnley needed to win to stay up. It was just hard for us to get motivated, but still, it's unacceptable to lose 4-0 to Burnley at home.
Every time you say it out loud, it just makes you laugh, doesn't it? We lost 4-0 to Burnley at home.
I know we're going to get onto this point eventually, but you've got to say, if the Albion do something like that to us, he's gone. He's definitely gone.
Well, last time we sacked a manager after losing to Albion in double relegation.
I put that poll on because after the Burnley game, I put that poll on our Twitter, didn't I? It had 280 votes, 56% are Nuno in, 44% are Nuno out now, which is really surprising to me.
I think you should do that poll again after we lose 4-0 on Monday night, then see what the percentage is. But
we're all still Nuno in, right? I think.
Yeah.
That's 4.
Yes, I am, but I'm definitely at the moment. Yeah, I think he deserves a proper pre-season and some backing to try and put this right. But I do feel, like I just said, that suddenly I think that majority will tip the other way, who want him out if we lose on Monday, particularly if we lose badly. And if we put up a fight like we did against Burnley, then there's severe questions need to be asked, because this game obviously means a lot more to the fans than Burnley at home. But we need to show a bit of fight or something, even though we've had a difficult season with lots of injuries.
Yeah. The starting team surprised me as well, because we said, didn't we? I think after Fulham, I wanted to see the likes of Otasawi and that get a chance. But then I thought to myself, we threw the FA Cup, didn't we? So I think we threw the FA Cup to try and climb up the leagues. There's more money there. So Nuno's just going to play the team he thinks is the best, isn't he? So that explains that one. But even from now, I'd love to see, actually, let's say after Albion, because obviously we want to make sure we beat Albion. But that kind of contradicts what I say. But I would like to see us experiment a bit now. But the season died for us, really, didn't it? Us as a podcast, when we lost that FA Cup game, didn't it, really? That was just when I was just like, oh, man, I'm done.
Just what's happened with Pedence, Jack, do you reckon? I mean, you sort of highlighted him last week, didn't you? And again, he just didn't show anything.
I'm not sure, because I'm hoping he's just not fully fit, and because he's coming back from an injury, and we haven't got the players at the moment, that he's had no choice really to be thrown into the team. In the same way that Neves had been isolating for 2 weeks, then suddenly has to start. It's not good preparation. But I'm hoping it just takes him a while to get over the injury. But I've seen that he's gone off to Portugal, hasn't he, midweek? He's in Portugal at the moment.
No, apparently that's false news and it's an old picture because I did see that online.
Oh, okay.
'Cause he's in training today. There was pictures of him in training, but then that was on his story. So
I was going to say,
his dog passed away, didn't it? His dog passed away. Can you blame that on his performances? Grieving a little bit.
Ridiculous.
He looked like he was really close to it.
Right. Really close to his dog.
If your dog died, would you be upset? Would you underperform at work?
I haven't got a dog.
Well, sorry, I'm not going to earn my 75 grand this week because my dog's died and I'm a bit sad.
Just because you earn good money doesn't mean you haven't got feelings.
Exactly. Some people think dogs are like their kids, don't they? Like they really love their dogs.
I cried more having to pay for my cat than having to it.
Come on, man. That's just reading between the lines, isn't it? I mean, if the geezer had a great day, it'd be bigger than him anyway. So I suppose it could be a family member. But no, that's not an excuse. If you're in the age we're in now, if you're mentally not well enough to play, you shouldn't be in the team.
I agree with that. That is a very good point. But we're not buying the pandemic line that we've all been probably hard to motivate ourselves this year due to the pandemic. But I suppose Burnley are going through a pandemic as well, and they managed it okay.
I do think the fixtures have been tough though, with like the very little preparation. When you look at also how tough it's been on teams like. No, as in like
back into the two worst teams in the league. One of the worst teams ever to be in the league.
Sorry, I mean overall. I mean the fact we rolled from one season in Europe to the next, just straight in, pretty much with the same team, with minus a couple of top goal scorers, really, if you look at it. But I'm not making excuses because we've been absolutely shit this year, and we need to get better.
That's why I'm so surprised at how many are Nuno. I know we lost 4-0 to Burnley, but Nuno has got the excuse of the injuries have been terrible, and that is mainly because of last year, isn't it? It's catching up on us. And the Raul injury was... We all knew if Raul got injured, our season would be doomed, and it happened quite early. So just because of that, I'm quite surprised not more people are like, yeah, okay, we get it. Let's give him a chance next year. If we'd have got relegated, then I'm in. I'm like, yeah, see you, Nuno. But it's just surprising. It's a knee-jerk reaction, maybe. Maybe after a few days, like about now, if you ask the people who said Nuno out after that game, they might be a bit more considered. But I can see why people are angry at the same time.
I think you do have to think big picture, though, don't you, really? I mean, our terrible season at the moment is 12th in the Premier League, which we'd have bitten your hands off at. Like, for most of our lifetimes, if you'd offered us 12th in the Premier League every year, we'd be like, yeah, take that. That's brilliant.
Jacket.
But
it doesn't take a lot for that 12th to turn into 15th.
I agree. Like, if we carry on like this, we're relegation fodder next year. Everyone can see that. And I don't know how we're 12th, really. We don't know how we're 12th. We could easily, in another year, with a different league, with a bit more probably competition at the bottom from those bottom teams, be right in a relegation battle now. But he deserves a chance to put it right, I think. And I'm holding that line until at least 8 o'clock on Monday night.
Where's he start with that, Harry, putting it right? Because we're talking about Connor Cody not playing a part in this Wolves 11. He's got to not only go and find a decent centre-back, he's got to go out and find a captain.
Feels that way. And I think if we do change...
Well, he can't captain from the bench.
No, that's right. But
you'd be able
maybe if we do change and go forward at the back, I can't see any reason why Cody would start. So we've got to sign at least 2 defenders, I think. But even Bolly's been questionable, like, since he's come back, really. Hasn't he? He hasn't been. He's been shaky this season.
Be so bad as he was against Burnley.
Yeah.
Like giving the ball away as much as he did. I've never seen him do that. Normally so calm, collected, sprays the ball out wide, but he was just knocking them back to him. It just didn't seem like he was quite right. I know. Did he test positive for coronavirus? Forgive my ignorance.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, when he went away with the Ivory Coast.
Yeah, so I don't know. Bit of a weird one, that.
It's just like horrible at the moment, isn't it? I don't know. I just want the season. We've said this since about 5 weeks ago. We just want the season to be over, and as the games go on and the performances get worse. Even the 2-1-0 wins, the performances weren't the best, was they? Let's be honest. It's just more damaging and damaging. We need to reset and quick, but we've got a small case of Albion coming up first.
Well, let's talk
about. Wait there. The last 2 weeks of social media and this podcast have been, weren't we fucking marvellous? Semedo, best thing since sliced bread. Oh, what a team we are to beat Sheffield United and Fulham 1-0. You can't go and say, you can't change your storyline now.
If you listen back to the last two
Not
podcasts, we
enough.
said the performances were really poor. So all you're on about is the Semedo thing. We praised Semedo's individual performance the last 2 weeks, but we did say that the performances were shocking the last 2 weeks. So cheers for listening to us when you sat with us on the podcast, mate.
But if
Absolute Ross.
I'll be honest though, but if you're looking at defenders to single out for that shit show on Sunday, then you've got the three centre backs are before Semedo. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not saying
definitely.
I'm not saying any otherwise. It was just
Ait Mori
absolutely awful.
was better than them as well.
Yeah, I mean the wing backs were the only it's very hard to judge when it's just that crap defensively all round. But the reason we definitely lost that game is mainly down to the three centre backs, because I know we didn't create anything, but the reason we lost was because stupid mistakes by them three.
This
also,
process.
Just going back on what Bailey's just said as well. Even on social media, people were still moaning about the 2-1-0 wins in terms of the performance. I don't know where he's got that from. Unless I'm making things up.
I saw absolutely loads on Twitter about how we were great, how we're brilliant, how all this stick is unjustified and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the Happy Clap Brigade, the Happy Clappers were out in force.
What were we then? Well, we're not Happy Clappers. We're not Nuno Outers.
The only reason we were debating
really
was because of the Semedo thing, wasn't it? That's all we were praising Semedo, but
we're
not the whole performance.
Realists.
Because against Sheffield United, that first half, I nearly fell asleep. It was that bad. And I thought Sheffield United
I had fallen asleep, but that wasn't just Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how we beat Fulham, really. That was just a fluke shot at the end, wasn't it, really? Let's be honest. But
well, yeah, I mean, but how many times this season has that happened to us? When you look at Man United, Villa, Burnley, the reverse leg as well, they're all late flukes for me. Especially Marcus Rashford. Yeah. But I think this whole transition period has been done completely wrong. I know I'm being captain hindsight here, but it's better than captain sleaze. But in terms of personnel changing over, if you're looking at changing centre-backs and an integral part of defence in Connor Cody and bringing in a centre-back to replace a midfielder in Romain Saiss, and then further up the pitch, you've got 34-year-old Moutinho who's had nobody in to share the load because Dendoncker hasn't been good enough and his replacement isn't forthcoming. I mean, you're looking at almost changing half the side and you just cannot afford to do that in the Premier League. I can't think of a single team that's successfully done that.
Even where we've filled in where we haven't been forced to, we have not been good enough. Just haven't been good enough. The two wing backs, other than when Johnny had 2 games, nowhere near the level of last year. The centre midfield looks like it's a man short all the time. As you're right, Moutinho's been knackered.
Yeah.
We then got rid of Jossa, thought Podence would step up. Neto did, but we still look a bit lackluster. Traore's Traore, and you get what you expect. And then we haven't got a striker. It's not a recipe for a good team, is it? We can't really focus it all on one game where there's been a range of mistakes that have led to a 4-0 drubbing. It's been coming.
No, I agree. It's just
at the moment.
The recruitment in probably the last couple of windows really it's just not been good enough, has it? And
I don't think it's been decent since we came up.
We've tried to be clever about it and thought, right, we're going to sell Doherty, we'll buy Semedo. We're going to invest in Fabio Silva because he's a bit of young talent, and that's how we're going to do it. And we basically sold Jota and Doherty, and although they had their critics, they'd go in and out of form. They knew where the net was. Replace it. They replaced it with people who don't know where the net is, and that's a massive, massive problem. And we need to address that in the summer, as well as addressing the defence.
I mean, I saw Neto more of a replacement for Jota, though. Do you not think, Dan? Rather than
he will be. I was just saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I do think he will be. I think he will be. Yeah. But
Neto's been our only shining light this season for me. He's been our only.
Here's the difference.
Consistent performer.
Here's the difference I've seen. Right. We went to Palace away a couple of years ago, and Doherty didn't have a particularly good game. Wolves started well, but then faded away, didn't have a particularly good game. And then Doherty scored the winner in about the 80th minute. That's the difference between Wolves of 2 seasons ago and Wolves now. Our 2 wing-backs, well, I guess Ait Nouri got 1 against Palace. Is that right?
Yes, he did.
Other than that, I think that's the only goal a wing-back scored this year.
It's funny, though,
right,
you mentioned that Palace away game because I believe that was the game in which you paid up your bet that we wouldn't get 15 points by Christmas and we'd be relegated by that time. Is that the right game? I know it is.
Well, it doesn't matter because he's going to have his Semedo money back pretty soon. So.
I've got my Semedo money.
Much if he scored a hat-trick against Albion, oh my God, you'd be so torn, wouldn't you?
I will.
Oh,
I can't get a tattoo, but I'll buy I'll get a Semedo shirt if he does score a hat-trick against the Albion. Jesus.
Oh dear. Well, look, let's talk about Albion. We tried to get some West Brom representation on here, but they just don't want to talk to us because they're scared of going down, and they aren't really looking forward to the game by all accounts. But it'll be their silver lining, wouldn't it? I mean, if they got the double, I mean, I think they are going down. We said a long time ago, didn't we, that the bottom three, as it was sort of a third of the way through the season, was going to be the one that finishes in the bottom three. And I think it's been a little bit closer than everybody thought it would be. I think it's fair to say a little bit of a resurgence from Fulham. I mean, Sam Allardyce obviously put his relegation record on the line, and that looks like it's going to disappear like his England managerial career. But Harry, we'll start with West Brom at the Hawthorns. Payback time, surely, because it's payback time Mark II, isn't it? Because we had payback time before and they won.
Oh, I remember going into that game. When we did have people on for the away perspective last time, Liam and Ali, we were all laughing, saying, there's no chance they'll beat us. Even though we were struggling at that time, I just couldn't see us losing at all. We did, which is absolutely insane to think about. And this time, I think we are the underdogs. I really do. Albion are playing okay at the moment. Yes, they're going down, but they've had a few decent performances. Beat Southampton 3-0 at home, and that really good win away at Chelsea, although they did have 10 men, and the draw against Villa right at the end. So I think they're the favourites, and I'm worried about this, and especially with the players we've got available. We ain't even got Neto to try and pull us out of it. We need Adama to turn up, and I'm worried. If we play like we did against Burnley, even if we play a little bit better than that, I still think we'll lose. So if Nuno has got anything about him, the players have got anything about them, they need to bounce back from Burnley and show the fans they care and get us our first win at the Hawthorns in the league or wherever in God knows how long. I don't think it's been happened in our lifetime, has it? I don't think. Maybe when we were kids.
Just early 90s, I think.
Nearly, yeah, exactly. So let's try and get rid of that hoodoo, whatever you want to call it, and get the win there, because Burnley will quickly be forgotten, won't it? And fans will have something to cheer about and be happy about, which we need after this terrible season.
Jack, he's got to make changes at the back, hasn't he? I mean, we called for it a couple of weeks ago, it didn't happen, but this time round, do you envisage changes at the back, and who for whom?
The sad thing is, Sam, I don't see any changes incoming after a few performances we've had this season. He doesn't seem to change it. And who was it who left and said that, Nuno has his favourites? I think it's true.
Catrone.
Yeah, Catrone. And when we were talking about Max Kilman, we said a similar thing. If you're an actual centre-back and not a midfielder, and you've watched the last few weeks' defensive displays, you can't get in that team, then there's no point you being here. You might as well go. And you can say that probably about Yana Hoover as well, or whoever, who I don't think's ready yet. But it would not shock me one bit if it's exactly the same team that starts that game on Monday night. And
Bayliss,
I think I'd be more shocked if there were changes.
Bayliss, same question to you.
Well, there's got to be a couple. I'd go 4 at the back and just have a go at it, because it can't be as bad as we were, can we? Can't be.
We played 4 at the back in the home game, Bayliss, and look at the way we defended.
Oh, I'm sorry. that home game was an anomaly. Yeah, the throw-in was the only proper goal. One penalty that was outside the box and one bad tackle. Who gets 2 penalties in a game to win a game 3-2? It was a bit of fortune in it for them lot, but they are a lot better than they were, and they're scoring goals, and we're crap. So it doesn't bode well, does it?
It hurts so, doesn't it? It hurts so much when you say that.
Happy bank holiday.
That's the thing. At least the one silver lining is that we are going to enjoy the bank holiday weekend, because it cannot be ruined by football.
It can't be ruined.
No, it can't.
No,
that's a huge silver lining.
But
game of golf in the pub, lovely.
A game of golf in
Monday
the pub.
night, Jesus.
You were playing golf
on Monday night.
Where's the invite? Where's the invite, Dan?
Fancy a drive to North Nottinghamshire for a game?
You're playing golf in the morning?
No, Friday night.
No, on Friday.
Friday
night I'm playing.
I apologise. Harry, hit us with a score prediction.
I'm going to try and be positive, although I'm lying to myself. I'm going to say 2-0 Wolves.
Jack?
Something crap like 1-1.
Bayliss?
2-0 West Brom.
and I think Dan's going to be 20 over par. Let's get your latest betting odds
20?
and
Take
ticket
that.
news.
I'll take 20 over par.
9 holes.
Oh, this is a shit. It's awful. Best bet I can see out there. Albion a 2-1, and I don't know how because we've been so poor of late. Over even money to win at home against Wolves at the moment. You've got to be having a look. Staying with the negatives, 2-0 West Brom. Pereira.
Is it?
And he's
What?
back in the room.
Oh dear.
He's actually disappeared.
Good job on that live, isn't it?
I know there's three
Correct
people
score.
who'll be pissed off, aren't there?
42. Oh, did I go?
Yeah, you cut out there for a bit, yeah.
You cut
You're
out
back
as
now,
soon
though.
as you
Carry on,
started.
though. Carry
Just
on.
start
sorry.
it again.
Oh,
Start
no.
it again.
Did you get to the
2-0
We've got
Pereira,
two-
I heard.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
2-0
no, we heard
Pereira's
that.
40-1.
Lovely.
40-1.
Yeah, a 3-2 Wolves win, just to give them a bit of payback with Jose to get the first one 100-1. And then I think this is probably the most likely and least likely all wrapped into one. It's a 1-1 draw with Semedo to score the first goal.
Wow. I mean, is it going to be the highest it's been this season? I don't know.
No, I reckon about 275.
It's 195-1.
Is that
Wow,
it?
that is short.
I think 1-1 draw. 1-1 is the bet the bookies have got. The bookies fancy 1-1 over everything else. It's 5-1 for 1-1, 6-1 for 1-0 Wolves.
Perfect. Jack has some actual ticket news.
I actually have ticket news for the first time in about a year. What a day. And I reckon everybody probably knows what it is already. But Wolves today opened a ballot to season ticket holders where you can enter a ballot and be in with a chance of being selected for a ticket for the Man United home game, last game of the season. Now, exact numbers on how many are allowed in, I think, are TBC. Social distancing, TBC. What you have to do to actually get in, whether you have to take a test or, give them your birth certificate or whatever, I don't know. But you can enter that ballot and then they'll release more details after. I know that I put us guys in to the ballot this morning and the website was quite busy, probably for the first time in about a year again. But so, yeah, there is a chance that we might watch some Premier League football at Bolognese this season. Albeit with most likely a lot of restrictions and a reduced capacity. But existing season ticket holders, if you want to be in with a chance, the offer is there.
What do we all think of that? I mean, Harry, I'll start with you. It's going to be step 3 of the roadmap in terms of the UK government coronavirus laws. So we'll be about a week in when the match is played. It'd be quite interesting to see what happens. I mean, what do you think of it? Do you think it's something that should be done? I guess they've got to be trialling fans back in stadiums at some point, and why not a Premier League game against Manchester United?
Yeah, I don't know honestly, I'm not that bothered about it, but I've always said I'd rather us just go back when it's full. But at the same time, I'd love it if I got a ticket. So I don't know, man. It'd be nice to be back in there, even without it full. Because I watched the Carabao Cup final. And although there was only like 2,000 each, wasn't there, the fans, it was still way better, even with that little bit in. So I'm happy. I hope we get it. We've all entered together. 7,000, is it?
No, I don't think it's quite confirmed yet. I don't know. I don't think it's properly confirmed.
The only reason I say that, because before Jack got us all in earlier, I clicked on the website and I saw 7,500. And I don't know if I just saw a random number, but I think that's what popped up of what's available. Okay. Well, that makes sense. 20%. It's 20% of 20, 30 odd thousand, 7. I'm not really
far off. Yeah. Yeah, it could be.
I think that's about right. People listening to this will know if we're wrong right now, but I mean, 7,000. I'm not sure how they do it. Will they spread us around the south and the north bank? Do you reckon? Or?
I don't know how it's going to work. I mean, the one thing that surprised me is they asked the question of how do you plan on getting there, which to me, if it's a complete ballot out of the hat, means why are you asking that question?
Unless it's going to be, it will technically be a ballot, but it'll be a ballot of people who are close or going in the car.
In each group, yeah. I think it's probably going to be weighted some way. And the fact it favours the more COVID-friendly methods of transport. But this is just speculation. I don't know. But I thought it was quite a weird question to ask.
What do you think of people moaning saying loyalty points should be involved? Like, Jack,
think the only
you've got
people
a lot
saying
of
that
points,
are
ain't you,
people
Jack?
with
I disagree, to be honest. I know there's an argument that it should go to the away season ticket holders, and I saw someone on Twitter say something like, "Oh well, I'm an away season ticket holder. I go every week up and down the country, and I've done for however many years." But at the same time, the 70-year-old bloke who's gone, for God knows how many years to every home game, surely that counts for something. So there's no ideal way of doing this, and the only real way of doing it is a ballot between season ticket holders.
That's the fairest way, isn't it?
So
Surely.
I think it's fair enough. I don't personally, if I miss out, I'm not going to be too upset about it. It's one of these things because at the same time, like Harry, I'd rather properly go back when it's properly full. But I do think you can't just because some people are fortunate enough to be able to go to every game home and away, you shouldn't miss out the core of your support who just go to every home game and probably have done for a very long time.
But you know what we really needed at this point in time is something to get Wolves fans riled on Twitter.
We were missing something, yeah. We were missing something. I mean, it was.
I think it was just it was timed to perfection, though, wasn't it? It was like a bit of a distraction from Burnley. People got a little bit excited when they saw the announcement. It took our minds off it a little bit.
In between Jackie Oatley's brilliant sarcastic response to some stick and Samosa Gandalf, this last week or so has been Wolves Twitter perfection. I've been commuting into town. Normally
we've been
play a game. Huh?
Have we been too positive on this podcast about Nuno? Because I think that's why
I was going to round it off actually, just because normally we have a debate topic, and I think I want to make it the Nuno thing. Harry, just go back to the poll. What were the poll figures? 56%,
54% in, 46% out.
So 52 means 100%, doesn't it? We've got to wait for it to drop to 52%, and then that means everyone's on the same page. But
as long as there's a winner. If
Nuno is sacked, and this is the main question that nobody thinks about, in my opinion, is who replaces him? I mean, Jack, you said Mourinho, but is he the only name that's available? Isn't he?
I didn't. I said Mourinho sort of in jest. I said if there was a chance to bring in a world-class manager like Mourinho, then I'd listen to it. But if it's going to be we get some, I don't know really. I know somebody floated. There was an article that went around in the week. I think it was from the Telegraph or maybe somewhere else. I don't know. But that Wolves are, contingency planning, I think it's called, where you're looking for a successor in case Nuno does leave. And some of the names on that list do not fill you with confidence. So I'm all for replacing him if you've got something better lined up, but we don't want to bring in the Portuguese Terry Connor. That's my worry. So just be careful what you wish for, and we'll see how it goes.
People hate that saying, Jack, on Twitter. Do you know the people who are mega Nuno out? They always put sarcastically, "Be careful what you wish for." I agree with you, by the way. We saw what happened after Mick McCarthy got sacked. I think that's in the back of our minds. Yeah, and the very younger generation who are the most vocal of Nuno out. Obviously, there is a lot of fans older and our age too. Obviously, it's not completely that. But I'm with you, mate. I don't know who I'd bring in, to be honest. I mean, people have said Gerrard. You've said Gerrard before, ain't you, Sam? Would you still want to see that? Would he fit in with us? With the Portuguese?
I think he's primed for the Liverpool job, to be honest. His contract runs out on the same day that Klopp's does, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
yeah, maybe. But he's been linked with Spurs as well, though, isn't he, Gerrard?
Spurs will be interesting, though. Interesting to see who takes that Spurs job on it, I think. But again, I know there were rumours that Jeff Shee was fuming when he left the director's box against Burnley. But I don't think he's that short-sighted. I think Nuno would at least get another pre-season in charge. Don't get me wrong, if we're bottom after 10 games, he's gone next year.
Oh yeah,
but I think he gets that chance to sort it out.
I agree.
There's got to be a big shake-up and a big improvement, else he will be gone early, definitely. Because you've got to consider as well, we've got a lot of Portuguese players. Oh my God, people are going to cry about this. But Portugal was shut for a while, wasn't it? So none of them saw their families in that. And we got all the, Can we use that as an excuse? Bayliss hates it.
I think we can.
Mate, my job is like professional alcoholic, and I haven't been able to go to a pub for 12 months. I'm still all right at what I do.
But you still get to see your cat, don't you? And things like that.
Still get to kick a cat, and then
it's absolute nonsense. We are finding excuses for us being shit, and it's not.
Neves missed the birth of his child, Bayliss. He couldn't go to Portugal to go and see the birth.
Well, Jota missed the conception, so I don't know what to say.
All right. Well, there's not going to be a line that's going to be better than that, so I'm going to end it there because that's just brilliant. We'll do is say goodbye to Harry Mansell,
Yes, come on, boys, beat the Albion.
Dan Bayliss,
Goodbye, Wolves fans.
and Jack Williams.
Yeah, bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.